Okay, so it's been how many years since the series ended?
I think 5.
That's wild. So then the movie comes around, the idea for the movie. Who calls who? Jeff calls you first, you call Jeff, what happens?
Yeah, I've been very vocal about wanting to bring it back on social media. Every time I see Jeff, I'm like, let's bring the show back. But it had been a little while. I kind of let the notion die. And then Jeff called me, and immediately, he was like, would you want to do a Teen Wolf movie? And I almost cut him off before he finished saying the sentence. I was like, absolutely. Please, God, yes. I've been like fantasizing about it and like visualizing it.
It's like rips his shirt.
Yeah, yes! I'm ready. I was like really fat for a while, and then immediately when I ripped my shirt off, I had a 6-pack again, and fangs started growing. I was so ready to do it. I've been wanting this to happen for so long, and I've never let the character die and the show die, and I'm just always, it's so close to my heart. I'm still standing. I'm still the alpha.
Tell me, what sound does a wolf make when it's going to die?
I saw the article that they were going to make a Teen Wolf film, and I didn't think anything of it. I just thought, oh, that's so amazing. I'm very happy for everyone. Congratulations. So I text Jeff, congratulations, and he said, can I call you? And I remember I was in this park bench in New York, and my heart, like everything just sank, and I kind of like my feet stood still, and I said yes. And he called me, and he said, will you come back? I want to bring Allison back. And immediately I said yes, and it was very, very emotional for us, and we'd kept in touch, since I left, but he's so excited about it that there's no way that I could say no.
Yeah, speaking of never letting characters die, because Jeff had said, he was like, I would only do a movie if we brought Allison back. That's wild.
I know.
Yeah, he threatened us. He threatened us.
He actually asked us. Yeah, he was
he
like, "Would you
blackmailed
want to?" and or like he's like, "Would you be interested?" He wasn't like, "Please," It was just a simple question and very simple.
And a very simple yes.
Simple an emphatic yes, please.
How do I know she's really Allison?
Who are you?
It's me. It's Scott.
Scott who?
What does it mean for Scott to potentially, he sees the first love of his life?
Loaded question.
I know.
It's a lot, because, it's been 15 years. More than that. It's been like 18 since Allison's died.
Yeah.
Grieving never really ends. The mourning process never ends, but you cope and you accept and you move on. And, Scott's at a point when we see him that he is lonely and he's reminiscing and wistful and misses the past. But obviously, he's going to have to move on. He has to, if he wants to continue with his life and find a new family and blah, 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 it can't be Allison because she's gone. And so he's accepted that. And then he sees her, and there's just like, I don't know how to feel. Is she still 15? Is it illegal for me to like her now? It's like, there's all these flooded emotions and mixed feelings about it all, but she's always has been his true love and has been since the beginning of Teen Wolf. And it's gonna be a weird ride for Scott to kind of, figure it out. And then there's all these other weird scenarios that kind of get in the way of them, and it's a wild ride.
And then for Tyler and Crystal, what did it feel like to just reunite after all this time on a Teen Wolf set?
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah, that was one of the things where, because like I haven't worked with you since I don't know, a long time.
A very long time.
I can't remember how long.
Yeah.
But that was everything about filming this movie was so nostalgic. The crew was the same. Everyone else was still, like, all the actors were the same. But then seeing Crystal in Atlanta, I was just like, where the hell am I right now? And it just felt so good. And like, it was nice, because last time I saw you, when we worked together, I was 23, and I'm 30. And so it just felt good to, as a 30-year-old, to come back into this and reconnect and get to know each other again, and it's different.
Yeah, and the very last scene we actually filmed together was her death scene.
Have you gone back and rewatched that scene?
Yes.
What is that like?
It never gets easy. Really, never ever gets easy. It was tricky for me because for that scene, I had to research. I didn't have to, but I have this obsession with having everything be real. So I had to research what it happens to your body when you die. So I was trying really hard in that scene to figure out her physicality and what's shutting down in her body and what does that feel like. But then I remember on the day I just let go and I just felt so much love. And I think that comes through in the scene where she says she loves him, and it's very emotionally charged.
I'm in the arms of my first love. The first person I've ever loved. The person I'll always love. I love you.
Yeah. Sorry. I was gonna say, when you in the research, you also evacuate your bowels.
You do.
And she even did that on set.
I did.
It was great.
I know.
That's commitment.
That's a
Good
joke.
memory.
That's a joke. Sorry. I have to. I'm still a 23-year-old.
I love it.
Time to hunt. I want you to watch your friends die.
So where do we pick things up? Where do we find your characters? All this time has passed. Where are we?
We were much older.
Because it's how many years?
It's been, so we were much older than our characters ending high school at the end of the show. But then we fast forward 15 years where we're actually either our age, and with some of the actors, they went from playing high school to actually older than that, than what they actually are on screen for this movie.
And your character has a cool job.
Yes.
That we get to see. That was so fun to see Lydia being a professional.
So, Lydia is no longer in Beacon Hills, along with some of the other characters, and then some of us did stay behind and beefing up Beacon Hills, but then they needed extra beef to come and fight some stuff.
Mm-hmm. And Malia's stoked about that. She'd missed the pack.
So you have your podcast Howler Back now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Where you go back and you kind of relive the episodes. In doing that, what has been like the biggest memory that has been dressed up from your time on T-Wolf?
Oh gosh. I love doing this podcast because I talk way too much, unfortunately. And I love asking bizarre questions. I love games. Like icebreakers in school are my favorite thing. So I guess revisiting, I think Jeff's history as a writer fascinated me in that I really got to take him through pre-Teen Wolf, and what led to Teen Wolf was pretty fun.
When's the last time you've rewatched Teen Wolf, or have you rewatched it at all?
I haven't. I really, I'm too scared. It was such like
Is it a I don't like watching myself on camera thing, or is it like the feelings?
I just wanted to live as the experience that it was for me. I just felt so loved in this family, and I mean that. It just was such a positive. And we do conventions. We just did the movie. So like, I don't know. I just feel like revisiting it almost be too much. Like it's too much love. I don't want to love bomb myself by rewatching Teen Wolf again.
I hadn't rewatched only because when you rewatch something, you've already lived it once. So to go back and live it again, you're like, oh, I had to take my dog to the vet that day, and my head's not really in. I view it from the eyes of the initial viewer, which was me just living it. Mm-hmm. And so that's where it gets murky for me personally. But it's been fun to rewatch it through the podcast because of having to rewatch it forcing myself to a different perspective.
Is there something that you wish somebody told you like that when you first came on to Teen Wolf?
I don't think they can prep you. I was just in Brazil with Colton, and I've been on stages before where there's, thousands of people, whether I was Miss Teen USA, so like I competed like on live television, I gave speeches, but when Colton and I came out on the stage at the Brazil Comic-Con a couple months ago, you could see it in our faces. It's like we're like this. It's like our first time, in Hollywood in that moment. It's like it came back and you're just like, wow, I almost forgot how big this show is, and now hopefully the movie, but because of the fans, and they were there and you felt it, and it was extremely overwhelming. Yeah. But you've been on the show since season 1, so
yeah, the whole world feels like a block party is what I say, and I know that's not normal. And it's a privilege to be able to go to another con and be like, oh, people know you here, this is strange. But I would say if I could go back and give myself advice, or any Gen Zer on a hit show, I think I would say I was so nervous, and I would just not worry about the future and really enjoy that moment. I think that's the biggest advice I would give.
You know, Wolfpack is also coming out, and I've been talking to this young cast, and they were just talking about, it's like, you know, we were at Comic-Con, all this stuff, and I was thinking about you guys, like, that first year that you're doing Teen Wolf, and it's like suspense, the hype is building. Like, when you think back on that.
Yeah. Oh, I got the chills too.
Yeah, there's a lot tied to that.
There is.
It was very exciting. You could feel it was literally electric in the air. You know, just that whole first year. We were going to New York. We were traveling. We went to Brazil. We literally traveled all over the world, spreading the word of Teen Wolf, and the hype kept growing more and more every time we went somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting the chills right now.
I know.
And it was intense. It was a fun thing for all of us to do together, and yeah, the energy was just, it was really like, this is about to be huge.
Yeah.
Is there anything you wish somebody told you back then?
I wish someone would have told me to really take it in. Because I think I did to a certain extent, but it was also new. I hadn't experienced anything like it. I don't think anyone really knew what the success of the show was going to be. So there was like this, I don't know. I think I got caught up in the whirlwind of it all, and I wish that somebody would have like said, pay attention. This is going to be something you have forever.
When you're thinking about a movie and from a show, it's usually like, oh, there's all these seasons, then we do the movie, and that is it. Is this it, or are you ready to rip your shirt back off?
Hell yeah, dude. I never want this show to die, this movie to die now. You know, I want there to be more. I don't know in what capacity. I want more. I've always wanted it, and you know, I think the fans do too.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they'll still want more after they watch this movie, and we'll go from there. But yeah, I'm 100% ready to be geriatric Wolf. Always.